YouTube. Quinn Wade coming to you with that instant play-in analysis on Analysis Playground on YouTube, exclusively on there forever. We're going to talk about who should be able to win the Charlotte Hornets or the Orlando Magic in the play-in tournament. Orlando is the eighth seed, so they have the advantage to be able to keep it. Um, at the end of the day, and they are a good team as they was able to finish above 500. They have size that really helps them. They can defend a little bit. They're physical, but we should talk about what they can do or what they have and what gives them a chance to still hold on to that eighth spot and lock in a chance to play the Pistons in the playoffs as the number 8 seed. Paulo Banchero is going to be important to what they do, whether if he has a good game or a bad one, mainly because he's a main scorer and ball handler for them. Obviously, he's going to try to score in the post. He's going to try to score at the free throw line. He's going to try to take some mid-range and some threes. That's just what he does. That's just how he tries to attack. Will it fall? That's another question. Didn't do so much against the Sixers, but this is a totally different team. They do have Miles Bridges and guys that can be physical with them, like Grant Williams, that can make things tough, make them settle for more jump shots. They have to be disciplined and not reach and not try to allow him to get into their chest so that way he can get close to the basket or get to the free throw line. They know it's going to be hard and they know it's going to be tough because he's just really good at it. So they have to expect that. Desmond Bain, he can drive to the basket. He can make plays as a combo guard for them as a ball handler, but he also can shoot the three off the ball or on the ball. That has been really valuable to them this year. I still think he was worth the trade for that reason, although they didn't have the roster, healthy as much as they would like. He still shows that he's a complementary piece to Paulo and Franz. And right now, we don't know what they're going to do with those two, but this is what they have right now, and he can really help them balance, out a lot of possessions if they get stuck or they don't have, a shot that they like. He's a guy that you can throw the ball to and he can score his own way or just be a threat off the ball. You look at Goga Batadze, we just need you to rebound, finish at the rim, find ways to get good looks, even if it's off of offense or rebound. Of course, you have Anthony Black. He has size. He's improving his shooting. He needs to do that again. They didn't shoot the ball well from the perimeter in the game against Philly. They're going to have to do it against the Hornets because, the Hornets can light you up if you're not making shots. And that can just be a game where they have it and then they just lose it and just get out of it too quickly. But he's going to have to defend. He's going to have to use his size. And, there's not too many ways he can attack the Hornets because they got LaMelo, they got Khan, they got Brandon Miller. They're bigger guards. Even Kobe White is he's 6 feet plus, so you can't really bully him either because he can give it back to you. But he's going to have to try to find a way to attack the paint and make shots on the perimeter. Jamal Cain, he's going to use his athleticism to try to get to the paint. If not, he's going to try to shoot the wide open three. Javon Carter, you can give him the ball as a ball handler. He can get some threes to go. He's going to take some mid ranges and he's going to try to attack the paint when he can. Wendell Carter, you want him to finish strong, finish well in the paint, knock down some threes that's open, rebound the heck out of the basketball and try to protect the paint and be as physical as he can in there. You have Tristan Da Silva. He can shoot the three. He can attack the basket. He can get out in transition, but he has size and versatility to guard multiple players on the Hornets. So he's going to be a guy that I feel that's going to get rotation minutes, especially against this Hornets team. And that makes perfect sense. And then you look at Noah Penda. He might not play. Jed Howard might not play. Colin Castleton may not play either because they're going to play their best players as much as they can because they want to go out with a bang. If they can, Jace Richardson, he's going to try to shoot some threes, try to hit some shots, but he might not play a significant amount of minutes either. The ones that will, besides Mortiz Wagner, he's going to set some screens. He's going to try to space the floor. He's going to try to be a rebounder and a rim protector. But I don't see him playing a ton of minutes either, but he's probably going to most likely play. And then you look at Jalen Suggs. You know, he can defend, he can strip you, he can play in the passing lane, he can hit threes, he can get to the basket, he can run the offense real well and provide spacing on and off the ball. And Franz, he has size. He's a good ball handler. He's a solid decision making for his position. He's a rebounder. He can create his own shot. He can hit perimeter shots from time to time, just not consistent with it. And we all know he's strong and really hard to get from driving the basketball and trying to finish or get to the free throw line. Those are things that they all do. That's all they can really bring to the table. This is what they have. This is what they go into war with. We have to respect it because they have been a solid team, but so has the Hornets. And I think the Hornets is a team that is up and coming. They're earning their respect. They're earning their stripes. They're trying to show they're good. They're trying to show that they compete at a high level. They're not going to have home court advantage in this game. It's going to be Orlando that does. And they really do thrive off that crowd. But LaMelo, he's going to have to be better taking care of the ball. He's going to have to be a better decision maker. He's going to have to be a better scorer than he was against um, the 10th seed. So it makes a lot of sense for him to try to play better. You know, Miami was a veteran team. They did make things tough, but they was able to get through it even with all the mistakes. Orlando might hurt you a little bit more. They were a little bit more athletic. They're a little bit more younger. They want to prove that they can beat you, and they're going to be in their home arena trying to make a show out of it. So LaMelo, he's going to have to knock down his threes. He's going to have to attack. He's going to have to be a great playmaker. He's going to have to settle down a little bit, not let his emotions and feelings, get in the way. This can be the first time he leads a team to the playoffs, so it's huge for him when it comes to bragging rights. We finally made it. We finally in, but they still got to win this last game or games to be able to do that. And he's going to have to be the leader. He's going to have to be ready. He's going to be stepping up in the biggest moments. Miles Bridges, he can shoot the three. He can finish at the rim, whether that's dunk or finesse. He can get to the free throw line. He can be a transition player for you too. He's going to have to do all those things when the time comes for them. Pat Connaughton, he's just going to come in and space the floor, shoot and keep the ball moving. Musa, catch the ball, rebound, try to get open to be able to finish as quick as he can and protect the rim. He's fast, he's quick, he's long, he's athletic. He understands what his job and his role is. You just want to see him do it at a high level throughout the entire game. Josh Green, he's going to take the wide open threes and try to cut if he can. And then you look at Zion James, he's going to try to take the wide open threes as well, but he's physical. He's a solid defender, and he's going to try to attack off the dribble if he can too. And then Ryan, catch the ball, finish strong in the paint, protect the rim, rebound at a high level, try to go for offensive rebound, try to outwork and outsmart your opponent in the paint is what he's going to need to do. And this is a big game for him as he's a rookie. And you could say the same for Con Knippel. Con Knippel didn't shoot the ball well. He didn't play real well in the game against Miami, but he has a chance to redeem himself and is going to take a lot from him. He's a big part of what they do when it comes to three-point shooting. We know how dangerous and how tough it can be when a player can make threes and how much it will hurt. And obviously, you still got to make the mid-range and the drives if you can, or that's the opportunity that you have to take because the defense kind of forces what you do and what you don't do. And if that's not there, you got to hurt them with the pass and not just rush or force up shots just because you feel like you can make them. It got to be quality most of the time. I know some shots you just got to let fly, especially if the shot clock is your enemy, but he showed that he's capable of doing it. You just want him to take as many good looks first before you get to the point where he just rushing or letting them fly just to be doing it. Trey Man, that he has good size for the guard position. He can handle the ball a little bit. He can be a guy that you can rely on offensively from time to time. Liam Niggly, he can shoot. That's all you really need from him is to be a threat if he does play, which it might not happen. And then Brandon Miller, he's one of the biggest pieces of the team. He provides tough shot making, three-point shooting, good driving ability. Even if you pass it to him at the three-point line, if they close out too hard or they close out too recklessly, he can get to the free throw line, or he can drive and get to the free throw line or finish around the basket, or he can just make the right play, which is sometimes making a pass to somebody else that's open that can still hurt, the Magic if that's needed or necessary. And then you got guys like Antonio Reeve, Salon. You got a Xavier Tillman. And Grant Williams, if they get time or get minutes, is going to be small because they're going to ride and die with their best players, as the Magic will too. But out of all those guys, you can say Grant Williams definitely is going to get some burn, but he's a guy that's just going to provide defense switchability and then 3 point shooting and some transition player and some cuts if it happens. And then Kobe White, he's the biggest player off their bench because he's a guy that can get his own shot. He can make the tough ones. He can get, the ability to break down the defense. He can get to the paint. He can get to the free throw line. He can hit the mid range. He can do everything you need a scorer to do at a high level to impact the game. You just hope that he's able to do it efficiently. In this one, you got guys like PJ Hall, Tosan, that's not going to have the biggest games or even probably even get a chance to play in this one, but they're going to still be needed for Spirit. Obviously, you want them to make noise. You want them to support you. You want them to be happy for you. And you want them to be great teammates. And that's all you can really ask for a lot of these guys. Let's go to war. Let's play. Let's do what we can to win this game, to win this opportunity. And you got to win one. And you got to try to get the other. So it makes sense how hard it is if you don't get in, as a seventh or eighth to start. The odds are against you. The chances are against you. Of course, Orlando is a team that is tough. They still a tough team to beat. They only got to beat you once to keep their spot and lock their chances in at winning the playoffs. A lot of people have been fooled by Orlando a lot. They look good. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of fundamental things that they do right. But if they can't shoot and they can't make shots, they just as beatable as a team that's bad or good. And that's why you look at them as a team that's okay. They got talent. They have things that they can use to their advantage, but they don't do it enough, and they don't do it at a high level enough to where you fear them. You feel like you can beat them. You feel like you always in the game. You feel like you can always make a run and beat them before the game is over. And since a lot of the time is going to be true and it's going to be accurate, I want to go with the Hornets. I feel like they have more firepower. I feel like they have a higher upside. I feel like their defense is better the last couple months. I feel like they are young, so they're going to make mistakes. They are going to get in tough situations, but they have shown that they can figure it out. They have shown that they have fight. They have shown that they're not scared of the big moment. Even if they're trailing, they're going to try to compete at a high level and make things happen. And I feel like the Magic have shown that they can do it. They just don't do it throughout the whole 48 minutes. They might pick it up a little bit, then they might go down a little bit. They might start making shots, and then they might go cold. And you just can't do that in elimination games. You just can't do that in big games because you need to use every possession as a valuable one. And I feel like they don't do that enough for me to trust that they can win enough to beat the Hornets. I just feel like the Hornets can create separation and distance when it comes to the lead, and they always going to be able to make a couple errors, make a couple mistakes, because they can always make more shots than the Magic. And sometimes that's all you need to do to win a game. And if you can win them against them once, you definitely can win against them twice. And that's all you really need to do to secure a playoff spot. Because if they do that, they're in the playoffs. And this will be a good story because the Hornets was a below 500 team. They figured out how to win. They figure out how to get the best out of each other. They finally start getting healthy. They have shown that they're one of the tougher teams to beat. They have gotten themselves this far. Might as well go all in on it and see what you can accomplish and see what you can do and have fun doing so in the process. And at the same time, that's what it's all about. To challenge yourself, to see how great you are, to see how good you are as a team and as individuals, and how y'all can come together, put things aside to get wins. It's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be some close ones, but I just like the ability for the Hornets to be able to knock down shots better, make better plays, have better shooters, have better scorers all around the roster, and the Magic just don't do it enough. And I feel like I'm going to pick the Hornets for that reason, to be able to get the 8th seed and be in the playoff spot and be able to challenge the Detroit Pistons in the first round. And we can talk about that when those things are official or not. But it's just predictions at this point for the fun conversation of it. Let me know what you guys think, who's going to win, who's going to get eliminated, who's not going to make it. And if I'm right, if I'm crazy, if I missed something, if I didn't see something, or just in a fun conversation that can be started in general. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell to get the analysis when it first come out. Y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Peace. And I'll see y'all later today, hopefully with more analysis.